Well, another morning, another deep freeze. First alert weather day, at least for this morning, as temperatures continue to stay back in that super cold mid and upper 20s for a lot of us out there. Nothing on radar this morning. We're looking well and clear. So that's a good thing about this morning, is that at least we're not dealing with any sort of precipitation. The cold, on the other hand, that's the main factor this morning. Most of us still sitting in those mid and lower 20s right about now. Good news is, or the better side of it, I guess, is there's no wind and no chill out there. So we're feeling right on, if not just a hair below that mark out there. So as you're getting up and getting out this morning, that's what you're going to have to contend with out there. Super cold out there. We're back in the deep freeze again, sort of a 1-2 punch over the course of yesterday morning and then again today. Good news is we're not dropping that low again for quite a while, but still going to contend with it this morning. Highs today topping out in those mid and upper 50s, so at least we'll get, less cold throughout the day. Still, we're staying in those 20s and 30s throughout much of the morning, back into the 30s and 40s by the mid to late morning, into the 50s by the time we're on into the lunchtime hour, topping out in those mid and upper 50s for a lot of us today. Some of us potentially eking out into those lower 60s, but again, still, it's going to be cold throughout a lot of that morning, so keep a jacket handy, maybe a couple layers necessary. We'll see ourselves dipping back into those mid-40s, heading on into the dinner time hour later this evening. Still partly cloudy, mostly sunny skies throughout the day today. Feeling really good out there by the afternoon. Still got to contend with the cold in the morning. And again, the good news is we're not going back into the deep freeze anytime soon. We'll see those overnight lows staying back in the 40s and 50s for a good bit of this week, especially as we get warmer over the next few days. And while we could see some frost, possibly, overall, we're not going back into that hard freeze territory like what we have seen over the past 2 mornings, which is really good, especially if you're sort of an early waker or an early riser like we are, or if you're, say, maybe a graveyard shift, which, my respect goes out to y'all, because y'all were the ones having to deal with that deep freeze over the course of the past 2 or so mornings here. Still warmer weather ahead. We'll be back in those mid-60s Wednesday and on into Thursday, potentially even in the upper 60s as we start to see more clouds throughout the day on Wednesday. Precip comes in Wednesday evening, sticks around through Thursday with another cold front there. Moves out by Friday. We see ourselves cool off, but not nearly as dramatically as what we saw over the course of our weekend that took us so low into that deep freeze there. Still going from the mid and upper 60s back into the mid upper 50s heading into Friday. More sunshine on the back half as we're rounding home into the weekend, but you'll have to contend with some rain in the back part, or in the middle and back part of this week. Still, the good news though is we're not seeing ourselves nearly as cold, at least for the foreseeable future. We'll take a look now at our next 7 days. First alert weather day continues through this morning. As we're heading to the afternoon, though, that will stop there. We're back in those mid-upper 50s, sticking around in the 60s for Wednesday and on into Thursday. Cold front moves through right about here, but still we're seeing rain on into the back half of Wednesday and into Thursday as well. We'll stick around back in those mid-upper 50s through Friday. On into Saturday, we're back in the 60s, 70s actually coming into Sunday and on into Monday. This right here is starting the week of Christmas. So while we probably won't see a white Christmas this year, we'll at least be somewhat seasonable out there. I mean, we're not going to see ourselves being excessively warm. Still might have to contend with a few showers, and we'll be back in those upper 60s, lower 70s. We're also praying for a little bit of a cool off. Still, that's a good many days away there. We'll keep you updated on all you need to know as we're heading into the week of Christmas. So stay tuned to your First Alert Weather Team for all things both seasonal and local out there as well. We'll take a look now at our Johnson Dodge Cam sunrise out there. Check out that beautiful orange sky, lighting the sky on fire this morning. Still staying mighty cold out there. Right now in downtown Meridian, overall traffic still moving smoothly. So we'll take a look at our MDOT cam, this one in Helena, Mississippi, which overall still looking beautiful out there, and traffic still moving smoothly, but may want to allot a little bit of extra time just to make sure your car gets warm out there this morning, because, well, you don't really want to drive on a cold engine. Could cause some damage there, and might have to contend with some frost on your windshield like I did this morning.